What a great night. This is our 10th anniversary. That's pretty special. Yeah. We opened our doors February 8th, 2004. The church was just an idea that God had planted in our hearts and said, "Hey, I want you to go do this." And so we moved out here, didn't know anybody, and met a group of people, and we started meeting together, we built a team, and we sent out flyers, and we opened our doors, and we started this church. And it was amazing along the way just to see how God has provided for us. I mean, there is story after story we could tell about how there was a need and God met it. Even just getting into the theater, I'll tell you this really quick because this isn't even really, I didn't originally plan to go into this, but I thought maybe we should really just kind of touch a little bit about our history. When we were going to come plant out here in Marietta, like I said, we didn't really know anybody, and so we came out here, Kathy and I, and actually Craig Wilson, and we were like trying to find a place that we could meet. You know, where are we going to meet? And so found out that pretty much all the schools had churches in there, and so we were just looking for some other places. And the person that was driving us around actually was Jill Foster, and she said, "Well, it'd be great if you could meet in this theater. A lot of churches have tried to meet in this theater, but the owners have always just turned them down. No one's been able to do it, but it's got a great little kids room that you could use for your nursery." She goes, "It's, you know, everyone knows where it's at. It'd be awesome." But unfortunately, no one's been able to get in there. I'm like, "Oh, that's a bummer." So we go back home the next Sunday out at Eastside. I'm talking to some friends of ours that are youth leaders with me in my high school ministry, and said, "Yeah, we're going out to Marietta, and we're going to be planting there." And they're like, "Oh man, my best friend owns a theater out there." I'm like, "Oh, very nice." So not only did they introduce me to them, and the guy said, "Yeah, you can meet in our theater." He goes, how many theaters do you need?" And I said, "Well, we'd like 4 plus the little kid room there, the party room." He's like, "No problem." And what hours you want to meet? "Well, we'd like to meet at this time." "No problem. What I'll do is I'll put off my Sunday shows on that part of the theater. We'll just start the earlier shows on the other half." And I'm like, "Great." And I'm worried about the price. He goes, "Well, how much can you afford to pay?" I said, "Well, we could afford $500 a week." He's like, "Sounds good to me." And so we just, they rolled out the red carpet for us. It was awesome. And God's done that over and over and over. One funny story on that is the day that Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, that movie was coming out, or around that time. I was preaching a sermon, and I was just getting to the real clincher. I was just getting ready to throw the hammer down, and all of a sudden the previews started coming on. They just and all of a sudden in the back we hear oompa loompa doopity doo. Pretty much had to just end the service there, and we just prayed and headed out. But Kelly Nevey headed up our setup team, and we'd set up every Sunday. We had the big trailer, we had the big trailer, and we'd set everything up and tear it down and all that. And then 2 years after that, a couple important things happened. We found out, again, ahead of time, it was a God thing how we found out that this building was going to come available, because we really wanted to open a preschool, and we wanted to be able to get our own place so we could have a ministry center throughout the week. And we stumbled upon people that knew that this was going to come available, and we were able to move right in here and take over a preschool and buy all their equipment, and God just threw open the door. And at that time, when we were moving out of that theater, Jeff Pascal and his crew were getting ready to plant their church that next Sunday, and so they were going to be moving into the theater right behind us. So we met Jeff, gave him some of our portable stuff. I think some of it's still around here, the big containers, that you load in the trailers and stuff. So we met Jeff and some of the Impact Church people, and they were in there, and we moved over here. And again, God just blessed us, and like I said, in so many ways. And through the recession, boy, it was tough being a smaller church during the recession. A lot of churches didn't make it, and we just praise God that He provided, and through His people and through special gifts. And God, it was one time, another story. We were just saying we really want to send out a flyer for Easter, a mailer. But we knew it would cost us about $10,000 to send out this mailer that we wanted to send. I said, well, let's just pray and ask God to give us $10,000. And that next week, I got a phone call. Hey, my business went public. I've got some money to donate. We wanted to see if you could use $10,000. Like, as a matter of fact, we've already got it earmarked. And so, I mean, God's just like that. And it's so awesome just to look back and just see how He has provided for and protected. And so, we survived all of that, and we continued to grow and thrive. And about two years ago, right, Jeff? 2 years ago, this was the official merge date, was on the second Sunday in February. Our official merge date with 3 years ago? Holy cow, 3 years ago, my goodness. So 3 years ago, we merged with Marietta Community Church, and interestingly, I consulted with a lot of people about that before we did it, and there was a lot of, those don't usually go well, there's always usually kind of, but I'll tell you what, the leadership from both churches got together, and it was so obvious that God wanted that to happen, and He really laid the foundation, the groundwork for that to happen in a way that was, it was smooth, and we figured, well, we're either going to write a book on like why you should never merge or how to do it right. But anyway, it has just worked out great, and God again has blessed that, and He continues to blow us away how He provides. And so it's been an awesome 10 years, and I know I've grown a lot, and it's just going to be exciting to see what's in store for our next 10 years. And I feel like, we've made a difference in this valley. We've made a difference in some lives. We've seen people come to the Lord and get baptized, and families restored, and lives put back together, and leadership raised up, and all the things that you'd hope for when you start out from scratch. I've heard it once said that a healthy church will grow. That's probably true in lots of things, Something that's healthy will naturally grow, and I believe churches are the same way. A church that's healthy will grow. And so as we look back at the last year, as we look back to 2013, we have to say, well, how have we grown? And if you look at our attendance, you might go, well, we haven't really grown, because our attendance has actually been plateaued, to be honest with you. Our attendance from the beginning of the year to the end is actually almost exactly the same. And so the question is, well, then did we grow? And I just want to share with you some ways that we have grown. Because although our attendance has plateaued, which I'm going to talk about, how I think we need to address that, there are some exciting ways that our church has grown. And so I want to just really briefly touch on that. First of all, we've grown financially, which is one of the ways that we've prayed that we would grow. We do want to grow numerically, we do want to grow spiritually, and we do want to grow financially. And we did. Our offerings were up 14% over the last year, that's awesome. And it has allowed us to do some things that we had been wanting to do and been dreaming of doing. And so I commend you guys for just being obedient to the Lord and to giving to His cause, and I hope we continue to grow in that way. Our preschool has grown. Our enrollment is up 32%. Another way God has provided, we had an incredible director, Joe Foster, that helped us get this thing off the ground and got us going for the first 6 years. She did a phenomenal job, and when the Lord was moving her into another area, we thought, oh man, what are we going to do? How are we going to replace Jill? And the Lord brought us Heather, and she's just done an incredible job. And so, I always say God's got a complete plan. If He's gonna move Jill somewhere else, then He's got a plan for us. If God's gonna move Craig, to Colorado, then He's gonna raise up a Sean, to lead us in worship. And so God's plans are complete. So our preschool grew. We baptized 20 people. It was down from a little bit less than the year before, but still incredible. 20 people that have put their faith in Christ and have been baptized. That's exciting. Our eldership has grown. Not that we have more members, but our eldership is really starting to grow as a leadership team, and we've done things to try to become better shepherds. I'm going to talk a little bit about that later, but we've read a book together called The Healthy Elder. We went to a seminar called Lead Better, which we're going to be going to again March 8th. And so we're doing things to try to grow as an eldership and to try to grow as leaders and as better shepherds. And I think we're doing that. We developed a compassion team that Tom Julian is now spearheading for us. And this compassion team is driving a lot of the compassion ministries that we do. That, a lot of, Melissa and Terry have, Melissa's full of ideas that we just love to try to keep up with, but ideas on just how to share God's love with people, and it is really the heartbeat of our church that we'll get into when we get to our vision. But this compassion team is putting some legs to that and trying to develop a vision for it and some structure to it, and so we developed that this past year, which I'm really excited about, and there are some incredible things on the horizon that the compassion team is working on. Our involvement in activities have grown. Women's Bible study, women's retreat, women's tea, the men's conference, kids camp. There's a bunch of activities where, involvement in activity is up, and that's good, and that's exciting. We renovated our facility, which is good. I mean, it's more functional now. It's bigger, it's brighter. There's a lot to, it's nicer when you walk in. The stage has more space, so I can actually move a little. When I preached, the band was really hemming me in there for a while. Still have to fight for my space. I'm going to tape off an area one of these Sundays, but that's all right. I love the fact that they want to just fill this stage up. But so we expanded, we renovated our facilities. We had, just on the count of the cards, and not every visitor fills out a cards, but we had over 80 new families visit our church. That's an estimate, really, because that's just based on the cards we got. But 80 new families visit our church, and several of them have stayed. There's many of you here that have come in the last year, and that's exciting, and that's awesome. So if that's the case, and we have all those visitors, and we've had some stay, well then, what's happened to what happened then to attendance growth? Like, why is it flatlined? Well, I want to, here's what happens. You have the front door, you have new people coming in the front door, but obviously at the same rate we got new people coming in, we have other people going out the back door. And that's what in church talk, in the pastor meetings, we say, well, we got to learn how to close the back door. We got to learn how to keep people connected. And so why does this happen? Why does this happen? Well, I don't think it's because our church is completely missing the mark in any area. I don't think it's because of any glaring problem or sin or focusing on the wrong things. But here's what I do feel it is. I feel it's because we haven't really done the best job we can. We haven't done a good enough job at making people feel connected. At least not enough people to feel connected. And yes. So we need to if we can shut down Disneyland, then our attendance will go up. Okay. So there it is. It's because of Disney passes. Yeah, Disney's open late. You can go to first service. But here's the thing. I think that, and I'm being just really transparent. I think we need to do some things better. There are some things that we need to do better, and I want to just touch on a few of them. First of all, our elders, admittedly, as our group, we need to do a better job shepherding the body. And we've identified that. We understand that. We know that. That's why we've been reading the book. That's why we're going to seminars. That's why we talk about, okay, what do we need to do to better shepherd the body? And so we know that starts with us. The things we got to do better starts with us as the shepherds, as the elders of the body. In fact, I want to start right now just by introducing them, because there's a lot of you here that if I said, who are the elders, you'd be like, I have no idea. And so I want to ask all you elders, why don't you come on up here? I want to just introduce you. So come on up. So okay. So real quickly, because I still have quite an agenda here to get through. Why don't you, well, here, I'm going to have you introduce yourself really quick. Give us your name and tell us just a little bit about your family and I guess just an interesting fact about yourself.
I'm Ed Peabody. I'm Sean Hill. My family's over here. This is my wife, Felice. She is the early childhood director. My son, Hayden, is probably next. Yeah, Hayden, he's a little guy with a lot of hair. And then I have my daughter, Hannah, who is a 7-year-old. She is, where's Jeff? Yeah, the other Jeff, that Jeff. She gets to hang out with him on Sunday mornings. Something about myself. I like chocolate a lot.
Very strategic move on his part. So now you guys know. Elder Appreciation Sunday, you're going to get some chocolate.
Hi, guys. I'm Rick Ciari. I feel like I know most of you guys already, but by far, most of you know my wife better than you know me. Denise, involved in women's ministries. She's the one among us that does all things well. And my daughter, Kylie, son-in-law Kyle, right beside Denise over there. We've been coming here for about 6 years now, I think. Interesting fact about me, I'm really pretty boring. That's the bottom line. There's not too many interesting things. Buy it. All right, I'm going to pass it down to Brent.
Hey, everybody. I'm Brent Daniel. My wife is Alicia in the back there, and yeah, she's pretty awesome. Our son's Judah. He's 9. We actually, I grew up in Idaho. If any of you don't know a little bit about my story, but 8 years ago next week, I moved to California to come plant a church, actually. With Jeff Pascal was my youth pastor when I was in high school at Idaho, and he came down here to plant a church and said, hey, in 4 years we're going to do it again. I'm going to call you. And then he moved away. I didn't hear from him. And then I got a phone call, and here we are. But that was 8 years ago next Wednesday, actually. So we've been down here for that amount of time, and just a cool experience. To be here 8 years later and in this room is just an awesome thing to see what God has done. And so I'm really excited about that. So of what I do like chocolate.
You didn't say milk or dark, Sean. You left that wide open.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ralphie Jahorkowitz. Actually, my wife, Brent, and I have 4 children, and we have quite an age range. Our youngest is 10, and you could add 10 onto that and a little bit more to our oldest. So we have quite an interesting team, 2 girls, 2 boys. It's even, which works out pretty nice. Other than that, you know what? I really love the energy of being in this body. It's a lot of fun to be with you guys. It's great to come to church and see you guys and see that you're plugging yourselves in, and so that just gives me energy. I'm 50, and I'm thinking I might make it another 50. If you guys keep the energy up, I got some room to grow.
And do you like chocolate?
I love chocolate.
Okay. I'm Cherry Lonnie. My wife's Melissa right there, the one with all the great ideas. We have 4 kids, 2 really older ones, and then 2 younger ones. Younger ones are Hope and Emma, and then Chris and Katie are the older ones. We've been going here for a little over 3 years. Actually, we got here the week before the merge, And when we came in, everybody goes, "Are you from Marietta Community?" And we're like, "What?" You know, we're just walking in the building. I mean, so, and I do like chocolate, but I guess something interesting about me, I'm a Raider fan. That's interesting, right? Go on.
Okay, moving right along. Just kidding. Anyway, yeah. So he comes to church painted kind of funny colors. You'll understand why. So these guys have, and Brandon Ford is one of our elders. He's not here, but these guys are committed to your well-being, your spiritual growth, to shepherding this body, and so I wanted you to kind of put a face with a name, and you're going to begin to see them more. You see them now, but now you know they're elders. But we're committed to starting this Sunday. There will be elders at both service after each service, ready to pray for you if you come with prayer needs. That's happened off and on, but that's going to be a consistent thing. Not only them, but some of our other ministry leaders. But there will be leadership available to pray with you at the end of each service. They're available for you to call on them for advice, for some spiritual guidance, for prayer. They're here for you, and so I know any one of them would love to reach out to you in any way they could, and so we need you to know that, and that we want to just be more available, more accessible, more visible, starting tonight. Thank you, guys. We do want Sunday mornings. It may start to take on just a little bit different, not flavor, but a little slightly different format, to where that time at the end of the service for there to be prayer is important to us, and we're going to try to make that more a part of our Sunday morning time together in our Sunday morning ministry. Our life groups, we got to do life groups better. We will train our leaders better. We will promote them better. We will make them easier to access, which we're already working on with the website. We stand up here and we say, hey, we want everybody here to be in a life group. Then we got to do a better job of making those easy to access and easy for you to get into and easy for you to understand, where they're at, what, and all of that. And so we're working on doing a better job, and we've got to do a better job of raising up leaders and implementing our life groups better. We know we needed to do children's ministry better, and we're already improving in this area. I've introduced Jeff to you. Camp is growing. It's an awesome time for kids, and so I believe that our children's ministry is definitely on the upswing. We need to grow our children's ministry team. So if that's something that is an interest of yours, please let us know. Let Jeff know. Let Felice know. Let Nicole know. Let myself know. Let us know that that's something, because we want to grow our children's ministry team. We want to have the very best children's ministry we possibly can. We need to, we want to do youth ministry better, reaching out to and meeting the needs of our teens. And so that's very important to us. Our youth and children are important, and we want to do those better. And then finally, we need to cast our vision better. And this falls on me. I need to do this better. I need to do a better job promoting our vision, and I also need to do a better job inspiring you to take part in our vision. That's been lacking over the last couple years. I will tell you that. I haven't done it well enough. I've clarified our vision, which I'm really excited about. I'm going to share with you in a minute. And I will do a better job not only making it known, but keeping us focused on it. I will do that by regularly referencing it on Sunday mornings, in our newsletter, through our life groups. We're going to keep it in front of you so that there's never any doubt. Someone comes to our church and they know what the vision of this church is, and they know how they're supposed to partake and be a part of it. I want that to be very clear to everybody, and I don't think it has been. I will emphasize it more in our leadership meetings, so our ministry leaders are better equipped to promote it and to be on board with it. We're going to evaluate our programs better against that vision and against that mission to make sure that what we're doing supports that. And if it doesn't support that, then we probably shouldn't be doing whatever that is that we were doing. And so we are going to evaluate our programs better against how it supports our vision. So let's go into what that is. But before we talk about our mission, our vision, I want to kind of define those terms really quick. First of all, our mission defines and describes why we exist. Why does Venture Christian Church even exist? What are we about? What are we trying to do here? And then the vision is what we see our church becoming and what we see our church accomplishing as we move forward and down the river, like we've talked about before. So that's what we're going to talk about here. Why do we exist, and what do we see our church becoming and accomplishing? Now, if we want our church and the things that we do to count, we've got to really be focused. We've got to really be focused because we don't have necessarily, I don't know about you, but we don't have a ton of extra time to do things that don't matter. We don't have a lot of extra resources, and so we need to focus on the very most important things. Don't you agree? We got to make sure as a church, with the time and the resources that we have, that we make sure we're focusing on the most important things. And so what are those? Well, you know what? Jesus was asked this one day. He was asked, what are the most important things? And it comes up it's in Matthew, but we're going to look at Mark's account of this. In Mark chapter 12, Jesus had been asked this, and I didn't turn to it. Bear with me. I could probably just read it off the screen, but Mark chapter 12, verse 29. Somebody came up to Jesus and they said, out of all the commandments, what's the most important? And Jesus said this, the most important one, answered Jesus, is this. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength. The second is this, love your neighbor as yourself. There is no commandment greater than these. That's the most important thing. Jesus said there's two things in life that are more important than anything else, and that's loving God and loving others. He said if you're going to focus on two things, those are the things you should focus on, loving God and loving others. And you know what? I think that just fits in well with the heartbeat of this church. So here's our mission. Our mission, why we exist, is to help people discover, experience, and share God's love. It's about God's love. We want people to discover. We want people to come and understand, and maybe for the first time, how much God loves them. And that'll change your life. That will just, revolutionize your life. And then we want people to experience that, because as you begin to experience His love in your life, then that transformation happens and you start becoming a different person, and you change your priorities, and you change your focus, and you change the way you respond to things, and God starts doing all that transformation in your life, in your character, in your experiences. And so we want people to experience, and then we want people then to go out and share His love, because it's not just about you knowing that He loves you, it's knowing that now He wants to love others through you. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, strength. And the second is love your neighbor as yourself. So our goal is to help people discover God's love, experience God's love, and then go out and share God's love. And so here's our vision then. Here's what we want to see happen. Here's where what I would like to see us go to is to become a mobilized community of believers who will help share God's love with each person in the Marietta Valley. We want to be a mobilized community of people. That means our church isn't just about what we do right here. Our church is about coming together and getting inspired and fired up and discovering his love and experiencing his love together. And then we go out through these doors and we go share his love with people. We're mobilized to share God's love. And we want to see every single person in this valley be touched by his love. Be touched by his love. We want to share God's love with each person in this valley. And guess what? That's an achievable goal. Now, they're not going to all come to Christ. They're not going to all, commit their hearts to him and all that. But that shouldn't stop us from sharing his love, because guess what? As we go out and we start sharing his love with people, some people are going to respond to that. Some people are going to go, why in the world are you doing this for me? Why are you treating me like this? What is it about that? And they're going to want to know. And we're going to get to tell them what it's about. So here's our goal. Like, our goal for this year is... I'd like to see us, and I actually, what's up there? Go ahead and hit that next screen. 5,000 love shares. It's going to be, that's a hefty goal. But what I mean by 5,000 love shares, let me explain what that means. What is a share? A share are the various ways we extend God's love to others. It's creating an opportunity to show other people that God loves them. It's responding with to their thank you, because people will often, if you're going to, share God's love with them in some practical way, they're going to say thank you. And it's responding with, I just wanted to share God's love with you in a practical way. And so it's while you're out there mowing your lawn saying, you know what? I'm going to go mow my neighbor's lawn, because I know that, he doesn't get much opportunity to get out there and do it, so I'm going to go mow his lawn too. It's praying with that coworker whose wife is going to be going in for surgery this week and saying, can I pray with you? And just looking for practical ways to share God's love with people. And then when they say, you know what, thank you, to respond with, man, I just wanted to share God's love with you in a practical way. That's a share. I want us to do that 5,000 times this year. Now, we currently have built into our programming several love shares. In fact, I started to think about it based on, I think if someone comes in our doors on a Sunday morning and they're a visitor, and we reach out to them and we love them and we welcome them and we, meet them and ask them about their family and help them get to their kids to their thing, and we love on them when they're here, that's a love share. And I estimated, based on our cards from last year, if each card, was average of about 3 people, that Sunday morning visitors was about 275 love shares. Our Sunday school, or our school supply backpacks, you guys know at the beginning of the school year, this last year we did 75 of those, and those are each a love share. Our preschool families, I kind of did I think a conservative estimate on that, if we say there's 3 people per family down there that we actually impact through our preschool, that's 350, and that's a conservative number, but 350 love shares. Our Launchpad program, our after-school program, and through the summer, we have at least 50 different kids that come through that program, and so that's 50 love shares. Our Vacation Bible School, we have like 130 kids, but we figured about 50 of them are from the community that aren't a part of our church or a part of another church, and so that's 50 love shares. We do our Angel Tree at Christmas time with Rancho Domicitas, and that was at least 30 love shares. Our dinner ministry, which I'll talk about in just a second, but we served over 1,500 meals. Were some of those, to the same people? Absolutely, but sometimes it's going to take several love shares before somebody responds, and so there was 1,500 love shares. Papalote, we took food down there. We took a collection and we sent food to the people down there, and through their church, we fed about 250 people, and so that was 250 love shares. Our family carnival. We've got to be more strategic on how this turns into to a love share, but there we figured about 500 people that we were able to touch through our family carnival on around Halloween time, and then our women's tea. There's a lot there's a lot of women that are coming. I think this is going to be ridiculously huge. But we figure there's got to be probably at least 25 of those women are friends and guests that have come and been impacted. And so we counted that as 25 love shares. You add all that up, and it's over 3,000 love shares right there built into our programming already that you guys are already contributing to. Now, here's our plans for 2014 and how we can move this to 5,000. First of all, you need to know that our dinner ministry is no more. If you haven't heard already, the city of Lake Elsinore shut not just us down, the whole feeding ministry, because there's different organizations that would go in there, different churches each night of the week. We did Saturdays. The city came in from pressure from residents and store owners there, and it was actually breaking a city ordinance, but they were willing to kind of turn away because they knew we were meeting a need, and they knew that we were blessing people. But after pressure from the residents and the store owners, they had to come in and shut it down. So we're no longer able to participate in that. They are trying to figure out some other ways to do that, but we're gonna refocus. We got some new ideas. One of the things that we're going to jump in and be a part of, there's a Thanksgiving meal that's served over at Murrieta Mesa High School every year. We actually started out with them at the beginning, and we kind of got away from it. I want to jump back in with them. They love our participation. Mr. Stoll over there who heads it up, he loves us being involved with them, and I want us to jump back in, and that's 1,200 people that are impacted with that. And so that's one way we're going to recapture those 1,500. Another thing, I just met on Thursday with the assistant principal at Murrieta Elementary, where Denise and my wife are at, and they teach. I met with them and shared with them an idea that we had to, that actually was one of Melissa's ideas, to provide backpacks of food for kids that are on the free meal plans. The kids that are on free meal plans come and they get a meal every weekday when they come to school. But some of them go home on the weekends and don't really get much to eat because they don't have their free meal from the school. And so we asked them to identify the ones that are on the meal plan that they think may be not getting much food on the weekends. There are some that they're probably not starving on the weekends. But so they're going to identify those, and we want to then, through our life groups like we did in the park, we want to provide backpacks full of food that the kids can, the parents can check out, and they'll come and get it on Friday. They'll take it home. They'll have a little bit of food for the weekend. They'll bring it back Monday, and then that next week, the next group of us will come through, and we'll fill them up. And I'll tell you what, I shared that with Mr. Lurkins. He about wet his pants. He was so stinking excited. In fact, he was like, man, I'm getting goosebumps. I'm so excited for this. Like, he just was so pumped. He's like, this is such a great idea. And, man, I'm just so thankful you guys want to do that. And so that's one thing that we're going to be putting together. I'm going to be heading out in March down to Panama. And we're going to be developing a new missions effort. If everything works out the way it's looking like it will, we will develop a new ministry down there in Panama. What the plan would be to support a national pastor there among, I can't remember how the current name. It's among the Guaymi Indians down there in northern Panama. There's a new name for them that I can't remember or pronounce. I'm sorry, but when I was there before, we referred to them as Guaymi. And so we'll support a local pastor, and then we're going to be able to kind of develop a sister relationship with the church there. We'll support him. We're going to send teams down there. We're going to send supplies for school down there. Our preschool will probably do some efforts to try to support the children there. I think it's just going to open up some phenomenal opportunities for us to be involved in that ministry. The Malawangs are back off the field, and we need to refocus our mission efforts, and that's what it's going to be. So I'm going to love for some of you. We're going to take it. I want to take at least one trip a year down there, and I'd love as many of you as possible to plan on going on one of those trips and going down to Panama with us. Especially if you speak Spanish. Boy, you'd be really helpful to us. But, although the Guaymi, only some of them speak Spanish. So They speak a different dialect. But so that in Panama, the food backpacks, talked about that. And then we've done this thing, we did it around Thanksgiving where we just called them, intentional acts of love. And I put it down here as random love shares, where we want to at different times say, hey, in fact, we're planning to do one this spring where we want to give you like a window of where we say, let's all really focus on something that we can do to a neighbor, with a friend, at school, with a coworker, where we are going to intentionally share God's love with someone. And then here's the thing. And then we just want you to just be thinking about that all the time. And we've created something on our website. I don't think it's active yet, is it, Jeff? Okay, it will be, we will let you know, but soon there will be a link on our website. And what we want you to do, and it's not going to be, you're not going to be bragging or boasting because it's actually anonymous. But when God uses you to reach out and touch somebody with his love, when you have a love share some week, we want you to go on the website and just say, hey, I got to do this with my coworker. Or I did this in my neighborhood, or God, allowed this to use me this way. And we want to log those things, and we want to all be able to see them. We want to celebrate all of these things, and we want to be able to track this, and we want to see how God's going to use us. 5,000 love shares. I think we can do it. I think we can do it. And I'll tell you what, when we as a church start thinking this way, when we as a church start making that kind of the goal of our week, what's going to be my love share this week, it's not only going to change each of us, because it will. It'll change like your purpose for even going to work. It'll change your outlook each day, like, is this the day I'm going to go and do that love share? But it's going to be phenomenal to see the way God's going to use those efforts to make a difference in people's lives. And that's what I want us to be about. I don't know if we're ever going to be like a mega church. And you know what, to be honest with you, I don't even care. But here's the deal. I want to make a mega impact. And we can do that. We can do that. Jesus took 12 guys and made a pretty big impact. And then that early church started with about 120 people, and they made a pretty big impact. We can do that. We can make a big impact. And if we start doing that, we're going to be blown away at what we see God do. And so there's what you'll see. You'll go on there and you'll write in what it is, and I can't really see it, but you can probably see it better than me. So you'll describe your love share, how many people were impacted by it, like how many shares it is, and then you'll hit submit. And what'll be exciting is we'll start just seeing all these different things that are going on. You'll get to see what's going on with our whole church. I think that's going to be exciting. And like I said, it's anonymous. This isn't us like tooting our own horn. This is saying, look how God got to use me today because I was available to him. And so it's going to be awesome to see the different ways God uses us. And so there's our vision. We want to share God's love with everybody in this valley. And we're going to start by trying to reach out to 5,000 people. You know what? There's some people already getting touched by God's love, because guess what? There's other churches that are out sharing God's love as well. Our goal is to just try to find those that nobody's touched with his love yet, that just need a love touch, need a love share. And so here's what I'm going to ask you to do. I'm going to go to number 2 first of our is I'm going to ask each of us, and I'm going to have you think about this. I'm not going to have you actually commit to this right now, but I'm going to ask you to really consider this. I want you to help us to commit to helping us reach our goal by intentionally looking for opportunities to share God's love with others at least once a week. If each of us would look for an opportunity once a week to share God's love with somebody. When you think about it, that's not really that much. But what it's going to have us do is start thinking, okay, what am I going to do this week? Or if you start thinking about that when the opportunities that have already been coming, we'd be blown away how many opportunities we've missed because we're just not looking for them, because we're so busy, because we put our head down and we just do our grind, and we miss opportunities every single day to share God's love with people. And so if we would commit to, I'm gonna look for an opportunity to share God's love at least once a week. we'll demolish this goal. But I want to ask you to commit to that. I want to ask you to commit. I'm going to work to intentionally share God's love with somebody every week in some way. The other thing is, and I didn't even touch on this tonight, but I need to briefly talk about it because it's urgent, is that we are, at the time, our lease here is up a year from August, the end of August 31st, 2015. Our lease here ends. And we have talked about relocating, finding another place, something that would be just more functional for us, give us more space, allow us to do more things. But we want to do what God wants us to do. And so our leadership we've been fasting and praying, and we want to invite you to join us in that. In fasting and praying we want to ask you to fast and pray for our leadership team that's going to be making this decision. Because we feel like we need to make this decision before the end of March. Because it's going to take a while. If we are going to relocate, it's going to take a while for that to happen. But we don't want to run ahead of God. We don't, because I'll tell you what, it's going to take a miracle. It's going to take a miracle. But the last time I checked, our God specializes in that. But if we're gonna do that, it needs to be. You don't get out of the boat unless He calls you, right? When He called Peter, then he could know, hey, I'm gonna get out and I'm gonna be able to walk on the water. If we're gonna get out of the boat, we're gonna walk on the water. We want to make sure God's calling us to do that. And so we're fasting, we're praying. We want to invite you to do that. Now let me just talk about that really quick, because some of you are like, what is fasting? What does that mean? What it is really, it's a biblical, spiritual discipline. It's really abstaining from food, or actually it could be any other desire of the flesh. It could be you can, if you can't for health reasons abstain from food, you can do it for something else. But the purpose is this: it's to abstain from food to be able to turn your hunger towards God. To be able to, and I'm not going to go into a lot of it right now. I just want to briefly say it's not for us to gain God's favor, so He's going to do something for us, but it is to really produce a transformation in us. It produces a change in us. It allows us to focus on Him a little more clearly, more focused attention and dependence on God. It's realizing that this hunger that I have because I'm not eating, Lord, I hunger for You and for Your truth. I'm going to turn that hunger, and I'm going to turn my attention a little more to You at this time. I'm going to let that hunger in my stomach remind me how much I need You. And so it's really just a denial of self to open up your heart to what God wants to speak to you. And so we're going to invite you to, we've been fasting once a week, to fast once a week. And there's various ways. We ask you to figure that out. It can be from sun up to sundown. It could be one meal, it could be a full day. We just want to encourage you to fast once a week and pray for our leadership for this decision, because it's a big decision in the life of our church. It's really important that we get this right. And so we're asking you to pray for that, because that's going to impact us next year in a huge way. And then begin to commit to begin in sharing His love intentionally with someone once a week. All right. What we're going to do now is I'm going to close in prayer. And how are we doing? What time is it? Okay. What we're going to do, I'm going to pray, and then our elders who have been serving us all night are going to get up. They're going to grab some cake, and they're going to bring it around, and then I'm going to open it up. Actually, why don't we do this? I'll close in prayer after. Why don't you guys go grab the cake, and I want to open up for questions, a little time of Q&A. Do you have any questions about anything that I shared, anything that, where we're going, what we're about, why we do what we do? This is the time. So any questions? And they're going to be bringing cake, so some of you are going to be focused on your cake, and that's okay. But any questions? Yes. Okay. Shh, listen.
Off the subject, but most churches that I've attended have like a church directory.
Mm-hmm.
They try to have the names and addresses of all the members of the church and like the elders and that. So if you do need to call somebody to pray with you for whatever, it's a handy thing to have. The one church I've belonged to even like put pictures of the
Uh-huh. Right. Yeah, we have talked about that. The only thing, like with doing a picture directory right now, is that, boy, we'd have to probably update it every few months to stay on top of, with the new people and all of that. So, sure. Yes. Yeah, it's something that we've contemplated, especially of our leadership. And again, we want to make sure our ministry leaders are better identified on the webpage, and our elders on the webpage. So leadership, absolutely. It's just a little trickier these days trying to do the other, but it's something that we've talked about and we've thrown around. So it's not a bad idea. Yes. Thank you for bringing that up. We are going to be starting. Where's Tom? Okay, Tom stepped out, but we're actually going to be starting a Bible study on Thursday mornings at 10 o'clock for seniors. Now, right now, where that's going to be is it's going to be at Casa Jimenez. They have a banquet room, and it's going to be there. Out of that, we're hoping that will blossom into a ministry, that maybe it will be an outreach down there, or maybe it's invite some of them up to our Bible study. Yeah, so please help us get the word out. This is something that I've wanted to have happen for a few years now. We're going to be starting that probably the 1st of March. We're going to start that Bible study. Okay, thank you. Vanna will be taking that around. So yeah, we're going to be really kind of focusing on that as a ministry here. So please get the word out to people that would be interested. Thursday mornings, 10 o'clock, probably the beginning of March, but we have to firm it up before we officially. But yeah, thank you for asking that, because yeah, awesome. So yeah, it'll be downstairs. It'll be in that room there, right here. We are looking, yes, we will be looking for something in the area. We're not, we really want to be in Murrieta, as centrally located as possible. That's difficult. And so if the Lord's calling us to move, we would want it to be in Murrieta. We really don't want to get too far out of Murrieta. So there was a question back here.
Does it work? I was just curious to know a little more about the Compassion Ministries, and does that come through our offerings, or what kind of things?
Okay.
Does that entail?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. The compassion team is overseeing kind of an umbrella over several things. Our local benevolent ministries, but also our mission efforts. Right now, we have budgeted about $900, I think, a month, or go to missions, and we do currently. We send money to Hope International University, which raises up student leaders for ministry, and we send $100. We send money $100 a month to through what's it called? I know it's a Christian Missionary Alliance, but they call it their missions fund. I forget what they call it. It's the Great Commission Fund. Their Great Commission Fund. So we send money to that, and then they support all kinds of missionaries all over the world with that. Currently, that's the money that's going out. So we have money that we're planning then to put the rest of that, I believe, into the Panama ministry. So that's currently what's going. Tom, why don't you stand up real quick? Those of you interested in coming to the Thursday morning Bible study, Tom's going to be leading that. It's going to be awesome. And so all of you prime timers, you seniors, we not only want you to come, we need you to help us get it going and get the word out and invite people to that. So Thursday mornings at 10 should be the first part of March. Yes. Yes.
Is that what you're going to be doing instead of what you're going to be doing over there down by Browns?
Yes. We tried to get that going down at the karate center. We wanted to start a service and do all that. That ended up not working out. There's mold in that, and we ended up kind of cutting off that lease because we never actually went in there at all, because when we went in to try to work on there, it was just there was mold, and we were like, well, the worst people bring in there be seniors and have respiratory issues that they have to deal with now. So we just said we had to scrap that, and so this is in place of that for right now. Yeah, we thought that was pretty wise. So, anything else? Any questions?
Wait for the microphone, please.
No comment.
No comment.
Okay. Well, hey, let me close with prayer, and let me also say, please, at any time you have questions about what we do, why we do them, what we're about, please don't hesitate to contact me. I'm available to you. That's a big part of what I'm here for. And so let me know, and I'd be happy to answer any questions along the way. Let me close in prayer, and then we can eat cake together and be done. So let's pray. Estrada table, we're going to pray. I can't see the number. It's too far away, so I had to call them out by name. Okay, let's pray together. Father God, we just thank you for, boy, God, you've just blessed us in so many ways. We thank you for this church. We thank you for, Lord, your provision. We thank you for those who have come to faith here, that have grown here, that have gone out from here and are now growing and ministering and blessing others. Lord, I pray right now, we pray over this vision, Lord. We want to share your love with people because we want you to get the praise. We want you to be glorified. We want you to get the applause. And Lord, I pray that you would provide us with some phenomenal opportunities, Lord. I pray you'd blow us away with the ways that you'll use us as we open our eyes, as we make ourselves available, as we begin to think this way. And Lord, I thank you for the heartbeat of this church. This is a loving church. This church loves to meet needs and love people and reach out. And Lord, I know that blesses your heart. And Lord, it's such an encouragement to me. And I just pray that, Lord, you could just, Lord, continue to use us in some incredible ways. That we could look back at this year and be amazed that the ways that you've used us to share your love with people. Let that just burn in our hearts. Let it be at the forefront of our minds.